Hey, listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM 9.0, ArrowFM, and MPR. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hi.
So we have a lot of stuff to get through, weirdly enough, because there's not a lot of Hell in a Cell. So we're sort of juggling around, and I think we've got time to talk about some NXT and AEW stuff at the top of the show. Given they both went head-to-head for the first week, AEW's debut TV show and NXT's debut going 2 hours, over 2 hours, should I say, on the USA Network. I know you watched both of them. Was there one match of the night?
Oh yeah, it was definitely the NXT Women's Championship match. Candice LeRae and Shayna Baszler just absolutely brought it tonight.
Yeah, it leaves a little bit of a hole, after the amazing match, Shayna Baszler retaining on really who's left on NXT to go after her. And I know before the show you mentioned Rhea Ripley as a possible opportunity there.
The other option, it's kind of long-term out, because she does need to be built a little bit. But the lady who returned last week, your little Kiwi girl.
I was trying to bait you that way. I'm quite happy. I was like, oh, I'm going to do a subtle bait? I'm not going to make it obvious? Yeah, in terms of, if you just look at the NXT women's roster, there is not a whole lot that have not already, I guess, fallen against Shayna Baszler. So, obviously, Rhea Ripley just coming from NXT UK, Dakota Kai just re-debuting after injury. Probably your two most obvious choices to go that way, because, Io Shirai's had 100 of them. Unless you want to give one of the other four horsewomen turning on her, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. Specifically the MMA four horsewomen, sorry. Which, leaves you with not a whole lot of option. Outside of that, NXT, actually, they stacked their first show. It's like they didn't want to lose.
Yeah, and they won, but it was to be expected with the number of title matches they brought, and the takeover level matches they brought, which actually the second best match on NXT's card wasn't even a match that was announced. That's how good the second match was, and that was Io Shirai versus Mia Yim.
This is a lot of praise for the NXT women's division here. You're picking both of their matches outside of all the others.
Yeah, that's just how good the matches were. It's the one area where the WWE can say that they are head and shoulders above AEW
and to be honest, Io Shirai also, top tier talent regardless of, whatever company she's going to be in. And then Mia Yim, no slouch, recently had, NXT Women's Championship shots as well. So I feel like if you grab most of the NXT women's roster, as much as they've all lost to Shayna Baszler, and pair them up, you'll probably get good matches out of a hell of a lot of the pairings.
Yeah, definitely a lot less clunkers possibility pairings than on the competition side.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I have to give props to the AEW Women's Championship match. It was far, far better than I expected. It was a pretty damn good match. And congratulations to Rio for becoming the first AEW Women's Champion.
It's not the direction I thought it would go.
Probably not the direction AEW thought until a couple weeks ago when Nia had to apologize for some tweets she had made and comments and stuff.
Everybody tweets. And I feel like it gets most people in trouble. But yeah, honestly, Rio's been someone I've been keeping a bit of a side eye on, especially when, she gets announced for AEW and everything. And you look down all the talent they signed, and it was someone I had a fair bit of good feelings about. So I am definitely surprised. I still would have thought Nyla would have picked up the first ever champion mantle, but absolutely happy with the direction that it ended up going, and some opportunities still around for some good matchups, but it looks like this feud isn't quite over just yet.
No, because Nia laid out the new champion following the match.
So quite a possibility we're continuing on with that, because I believe they have are they calling them pay-per-views? They're like 4-a-year shows?
Yeah, they are pay-per-views. Okay. That's what they literally are. Because unlike in WWE, you actually have to pay a substantial amount to watch them.
Yeah. So I could imagine this feud stretching out to the pay-per-view, but we will have to wait and see. Back over on NXT, we had a couple of returnees sort of stake their claim to NXT.
Yeah, following the NXT Championship match, which was a good match, not that it wasn't to be expected, Adam Cole retained cleanly, and then he was met by Finn Balor, who proudly proclaimed that he is now, as of now, NXT.
There goes all of your full club championship on Raw aspirations. Wave them goodbye.
Let's be honest. I waved them goodbye when the club started getting beaten every week. At least Anderson Gallows.
Yeah. Well, maybe Finn will hold the NXT championship while the others hold the other belts, and then there's still some sort of crossover-y type stuff.
Yeah, maybe, but I think the other returnee might have something to say about that.
You are correct. At the end of the show, Mr. Tomato Chomper wants his belt back.
Yeah, he wants Goldie back.
And he might get it.
Yeah. It's definitely the money match. While Finn and Cole might be intriguing, there's money to be made in Tommaso Ciampa versus Adam Cole, because it would be literally for the legitimacy of Adam Cole's title reign.
Mm-hmm.
After all, Ciampa never lost the title. He had to relinquish it due to injury.
Yeah, the NXT main event scene is definitely heating up. You know, you can see a top 6-7 guys starting to rise up. And there's a few people who want their claim towards the belt. So I don't know whether at the next takeover we're actually going to get a one-on-one, or if we're going to get some sort of multi-man type match to give everybody a shot with Adam Cole retaining and then moving on to whichever one-on-one you're going with afterwards. We will have to wait and see how that next takeover shapes up. But if we're talking about returnees, then we got to talk about debutees. That's debutants, but whatever. Over on AEW, someone with a whole lot of swagger showed up.
Not just somebody with a lisp, Jake Hager.
Undefeated MMA star. Like you didn't get told that enough.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a surprise. I wasn't expecting it. I knew there were rumors, but they were rumors.
You knew
until it happens. They're just rumors. You never believe it.
John Morrison. AEW were going to end their first television show with something, right? They had to be something.
Yeah. And honestly, there wasn't any big names that they could have gotten from WWE, because WWE's actually been smart and locked up most of their talent. So, yeah, Swagger was like a name.
Could have been CM Punk, man. They could have got him. Except for the fact that he might be back with the WWE soon. Let's see. Or back with Fox. I don't know what the technicality of that contract would ever show. So yeah.
I don't know. It was interesting. It definitely set up a potential stable for the heels. and a mountain for the faces to try to conquer.
Yeah, I guess when all of the vice presidents or EVPs or whatever their goddamn titles were, they're all faces, for the most part. And so, even though Cody's an absolute, I can't use that word, it's not PG, annoying guy, still a face. So, they're all going to need mountains sooner or later.
Yeah. And unfortunately for them, one of the Elite was taken out during the match. Because, of course, we don't have disqualifications in AEW. So somebody can randomly just attack one of the members in the match in front of the referee and nothing happens. Other than the cameras will follow them, completely ignoring the fact that the AEW champion is currently in the ring.
I don't know what's up long term around that decision. Because it looked like there was a few times where DQ was just going to be ignored, or they were setting up for stuff, like even with the women's title. So I don't know if they're pulling a sort of ref's discretion, big match, don't end it this way type thing, or if they're just straight up saying, DQs do not ever happen, deal with it.
I don't know.
Because that's a dangerous precedent.
Yeah. But yeah, Omega got taken out by Moxley, who decided that it was a fun idea to DDT himself and Omega through a glass table in the VIP section.
Why not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, those two are being set up, I guess, even though the title isn't with that, which is honestly probably one of the weirder decisions. That feud is definitely being pushed as, the tippy top feud. AEW has a couple of those running at the moment, but it feels like Omega Moxley is number one.
Yeah, and then Jericho Cody is like an afterthought.
It really does feel like the title should have gone the other way into that one, but we'll wait and see what AEW does in the long term. Obviously, this is their first show, right? So full credit for them even doing it. I feel like sometimes it feels like you're discounting them, or you're talking down about them and stuff. We are comparing them to a show that's been running for ages. But full credit to them.
Yeah, they came out swinging, and while they didn't do better than NXT did, they held their own, and I'll give them that.
NXT threw everything they had, so it was a tough fight. All right, well, it is time to go into our entrance theme this week, and when we come back on the other side, we're going to talk about Hell in a Cell and maybe have to make up some matches. I don't quite know. So here's that theme for you now. And you're back with the Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM 89.0, ArrowFM and MPR. I'm Grady, he's Josh. Let's look at this vast Hell in a Cell card. Seth Rollins, he's taken on Bray Wyatt in a Hell in a Cell match for the Universal Championship.
Man, this is a difficult match to predict.
Surely the Fiend doesn't lose.
Yeah, that's the thing. While he may not lose, he may not win.
No. You're going to screw me with some sort of non-finish here?
It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, it won't be the last either.
Yeah, this is just really awkward because it's way too early for the Fiend to have the title, and yet you can't have him lose.
Yeah, it's a toughie.
I kind of almost wish that Seth had lost the title on Monday. Because they were still going to do the Hell in a Cell match regardless of whether Seth had the title or not. So I kind of wish they would have eliminated that from the equation, and then we could just say, well, the Fiend's going to win.
Yeah, well, if you're looking at it that way and you're like, I wish Seth lost the Universal title, let's roll back to Raw. Let's look down the series of events that happened on Raw, right? So Brock Lesnar takes out Rey Mysterio and Dominic. Sorry, bro. And then Rusev's here. And then sort of Rusev helps out, and he wants his shot. And then Bobby Lashley comes back with Lana, and it's all over the place. And I also would have been happy with Rusev as the champ.
I would have been alright with a couple month run for Ray. That would have been a nice little, end of his career moment.
Nah.
But
no.
It is what it is, and I guess if you're going to hold a gun to my head, I'll pick The Fiend to win the title.
Ooh. Even over a no finish.
Yeah.
Okay. The worst part is I agree with you, and there's only 3 matches, and I want to disagree with you on at least one of them.
Okay.
What else we got? We got another Hell in a Cell match. For the Raw Women's Championship this time, Becky Lynch defending against Sasha Banks.
Alright. This is interesting, because while we believe it might go one way, it might go another, because from the simple fact that Sasha Banks has never won a singles title match on pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. You're not persuading me.
That has to be taken into effect. That said, Becky's had the title 6 months now. It is kind of time to pass the torch to somebody else. And Sasha's as good as anybody. But then where do you go from here with Sasha?
Yeah, I'm kind of putting all my chips behind Sasha.
Yeah. And then there's the draft.
Oh no.
That can really scramble things too.
Now you've... why'd you mention that? My brain's running wild. I guess when we say Sasha wins the title, then, what could possibly be next? The draft does bring up a lot of opportunities for that. Maybe we can get Sasha versus Charlotte for the 50 millionth time.
I'll go with Sasha winning, but I'm not confident in it.
Okay. I'm going to go with Sasha winning with a bunch of faux confidence behind it. In that way where I can sort of back out and say I was joking if she loses, but if she wins, I say, yeah, I always knew that was happening. That kind of confidence. And then the last match official on Hell in a Cell, at this point of recording, is a tag team match between Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns taking on Eric Rowan and Luke Harper.
I'm not backing down from my position. I'm going with Harper and Rowan.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I feel like it's the much better option from those two, Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns. Always going to be top stars regardless. This is your shot. This is your chance.
Yeah, it's definitely a chance to build a star, and depending on what they want to do, a faction. Though it would be very interesting to see a faction run by Eric Rowan instead of him being a subordinate.
Yeah, moving up from the guy who takes the pin to the leader would be quite interesting. That dynamic between him and Harper has been a lot more different compared to their previous tag team runs. So I could see them taking that opportunity and going that way.
But then there would be the question of who would be paired with them. Because I almost think there would almost have to be somebody that would have to align with them to beat Reigns and Bryan.
To the Superstars page. The Authors of Pain are still floating about.
So they seem to be doing their own thing, though. That's the problem with that one.
Aleister Black, but he seems much more like a leader type than a follower type.
Yeah. And he's too busy waiting for somebody to knock on his door.
God damn. Don't remind me how he's been fumbled, okay? I'm ignoring it and moving on. Buddy Murphy was hot, but again seems more like a solo star. Starting to struggle. EC3, give them EC3 so he's doing something. But here we go. This won't be confusing at all. What about a man who's done nothing since the draft? What about Eric Young?
Well, the problem with that is he's technically a Raw superstar.
Yeah, but with the draft coming up and people flipping all over the place, I'm not caring about brand boundaries at this point. He also feels a bit more like a leader than a follower. Oh no, I just had the nightmare flash in front of my eyes. And said nightmare is by the name of Lars Sullivan, so I'm going to keep scrolling.
It can't be Sullivan anyway. He's still out injured.
What about No Way Jose? That'd be fun.
Oh, that would be interesting. Definitely a 180 on his character type.
There we go. That's my final pick. Not because I'm at the bottom of the superstars list, but I'm gonna pick No Way Jose joins Harper and Rowan. There's no chance that happens. There's no chance, but it's a little chance. Now, we hit this lovely moment where, of course, there's gonna be more than 3 matches on Hell in a Cell. But at time of recording, that's all we got. So, what else you think's gonna happen?
Well, the first thing is, there will not be a WWE Championship match.
Okay.
Because the champion will be too hurt to defend the title.
Okay, so you're implying Brock Lesnar isn't walking out with the title then?
Yeah. I've told you that all along. Yeah. And I'm not backing down.
Are you still going with the exact same Kofi Big E?
No.
It's going Kofi.
I'm just going with some sort of variation where it involves Rey Mysterio.
Okay. Well, Dominic.
Dominic's in the hospital.
People have recovered faster.
But yeah, I just think something's going to happen that'll allow Kofi to retain. But he's going to be thrown around the ring so much that he's going to be physically unable to defend the title at the pay-per-view. So that title will not be on the line.
I can imagine that Charlotte Flair versus Bayley in some combination will be on the show.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, probably will be announced on SmackDown. Probably after they get into it, thanks to their partners in crime.
Yep. And I don't know, I don't see Charlotte picking up yet another win, surely. Don't make me say surely.
Nothing would surprise me. Nothing would surprise me with Charlotte.
Yep. And then something to talk about that happened on Raw. We have our lovely show coming up that will involve a Team Hogan versus Team Flair match.
Money, 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 money.
I have referred to this as much as I will, but now I will talk about said match. We got our first participants on the teams as well.
Yeah. Team Hogan will be captained by Seth Rollins, and we'll also have Rusev on it. Then Team Flair will be captained by Randy Orton, which makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll also feature Baron Corbin, or King Corbin.
Thank you. King Corbin. There's opportunity to fill up the rest of these teams. But the specific reason I bring it up is because I could see this leading to some combination of matches at Hell in a Cell. Maybe we see Rusev versus Corbin.
I think he's too busy being stunned in the ring watching his wife get kissed by another man.
That is true. Maybe we see Rusev versus Bobby. Maybe we see Randy Orton just take out of a bunch of people.
Yeah. I almost think Lashley's an unannounced third member. Because I do know that they were standing out there watching the Universal title match, and then the whole things with Lana and Lashley went down, and they were absolutely cackling. The camera caught them.
Yeah. I think that's an obvious third pick. You know, when you're feuding with someone on the opposite team, it makes it real easy.
Yeah.
Much like we'll probably see Ricochet join Team Hogan.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, especially since he's a real life superhero, and that was always Hogan's gimmick. So, at least when he wasn't in the NWO.
All right, well, That show, October 31st, happening later on. Hopefully we know more than 3 matches before we head into the preview show for that one. What is your last time, before we finish up the show, what is your crazy prediction for Hell in a Cell? What's something that's got no chance of happening, but you're putting your money on it?
We'll see a match involving the women's tag team championship match.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Yep. That's a fully legitimate. Yep. All right. Well, it's been great talking to you.
Baby.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/WrestlingRadio, Twitter page, twitter.com/WrestlingRadio, and we'll see you next week with the results of Hell in a Cell, possibly featuring a women's tag match.